seems that the British public think this is totally unfair. So as ever, what has King Charles III got wrong possibly this time around? As ever, let me explain. Hi, good morning, Neil Sean here. Nice to have your company as ever, and thank you so much for joining me. Also, thank you for your very kind comments about the recent video regarding cinema. Bit of a mixed bag really in the comments there. Some people still go to cinema when they can afford it. I like the fact that many of you ladies go on a Friday afternoon special. That's a good idea, a good friendship group, and just about affordable, isn't it? But the rest of us seemingly are either streaming or simply we can't afford it. As I've said here before, plenty of good free films on YouTube, but there's nothing like a magical night at the cinema, particularly the old style ones. I often wonder who sat in all of those seats so many times before. Back as ever though to your breaking roll story of the day. Now, of course, when you are His Majesty the King, organising anything for the coronation is fraught, isn't it? It's so difficult when you think to do, because whoever you invite and don't invite, and as I've said before, when you look back at the invite list of 1953, it was an incredible long list. Of course, the service was a lot longer, but this time around, we're having to have a slimmed down version. A lot of people aren't very happy with that, but then let's not forget also, quite a few people, I don't know if you know this, actually fainted during the 1953 coronation because it got that warm and people were literally squashed together. People aren't as accepting this time around, hence the reason there's something of a trimmed down affair. One person that's come to light that sadly is now not being invited to the ceremony is none other than the Duchess of York, otherwise known as Sarah, and to many people around the world, Fergie. Now, she's spoken about this already while doing her book tour across the United States, basically saying she didn't anticipate to be invited and she was more than happy to have her own party at home in Windsor. In fact, apparently, according to her, she's putting up a tea tent and inviting some friends round to watch it on a big screen. But people over here are very angry, of course, not just regarding His Majesty the King and the lack of invite, but given the fact that she was so good friends with our late and beautiful monarch, Queen Elizabeth II. And whatever you may think about Sarah, has always been very respectful about the British monarchy. She could have sold many books in her time, detailing her rather, shall we say, on-off friendship with the late Princess Diana, and in fact done a memoir, but she hasn't. She's stuck to what she enjoys, which is fiction and children's books. The bigger picture is this though. According to a very good source, the reason why Fergie, as we call her, wasn't invited was simply this. It is about strict numbers. The other side of the coin is simply this, you see. Charles's younger brother, Prince Andrew, will very much have a scaled down role. He will be invited, of course, naturally as part of the family, but he would not be in the position that he would have had, say, 4 years ago, something like that. And by putting them together does draw a lot of attention, unwanted, some might say. But the bigger issue is this with the British public over here, and this is the problem for the King. While an invitation went out to both Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, who had seemingly done nothing to earn that particular invite, even though, of course, he is Charles's youngest son, then the public feel, well, if you're going to invite those, and they did that, why on earth, or how could you possibly say you couldn't extend an invitation to the Duke and Duchess of York? Exactly, when you think about it, how negative can it be? That's the bigger issue that's facing King Charles right now. But the bottom line is, as it stands, even though the public background is swelling to pushing towards Fergie being invited, it appears right now there is no opportunity. All spaces, according to a very good source, within the palace have now been totally filled. It's a developing story, and when I know more, you'll know more. Neil Sean in the very heart of London.